Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Jason. Welcome back. So, my last two videos, if you haven't seen them, I went over 5 bold trade proposals for Francisco Lindor, and then I did 5 bold trade proposals for Nolan Arenado. Okay, I have a whole bunch more coming, but today I'm going to go over 5 bold trade proposals for Marco Gonzales. If you don't know who he is, check him out. He's one of the ace pitchers for the Seattle Mariners. Not a sexy name like a bunch of these other players, but he's not a free agent until 2026. He just recently signed an extension for $30 million, or 4-year extension. So he's going to be under team control for the next 5 years for under $10 million per year. That is one of the most team-friendly contracts, okay? And if you look at his stats, he's a consistent pitcher. You can slot him in at number 2, under behind like top aces, or he can be an ace in some of these rotations as well. But that right there, that is a guy who, in my opinion, would be a hidden gem in a trade. And also, the Seattle Mariners would extract a boatload of value in return for him. But I want to go over 5 bold trade proposals because this guy can be a difference maker. People might not be thinking about him right now, but in my opinion, they should be. And, he's a lefty. He's a finesse, a control pitcher. And again, it's not a sexy name like Blake Snell, who, by the way, is going to be my next video. I'm going to do 5 bold trade proposals for Blake Snell. So if you haven't subscribed yet, do that right now. Hit the notification next to it so you don't miss that video. And always look in the description for the most recent videos that I put out. Okay, and I just did a breakdown before this of all 30 teams. They're all in the description down below. My MLB free agent predictions, contract predictions for 2021, and a couple of videos on the Yankees as well. Take a look at them if you haven't yet. But let's get to 5 bold trade proposals for Marco Gonzales, okay? I want you to learn more about him. Number 5, Cincinnati Reds, okay? And in return, they would be giving up Hunter Green, who's their number 2 prospect, a right-handed pitcher. Excuse me. Jose Garcia, who's their number 6 prospect, a shortstop. And Christian Roa, their number 7 prospect, a right-handed pitcher. So they would get 2 pitching prospects in return, as well as a shortstop prospect. It may cost more than that. In a likely scenario, it probably would. So probably another position prospect. I wouldn't be surprised if there are 4 top 10 prospects given. Not at all. For the what you're going to get in return, and you slot him in there with a Sonny Gray and with the rest of that crew, Castillo, and yeah, that's going to be, he would more than capably replace Trevor Bauer, and he would be there for the next 5 seasons too, which makes him even more valuable. Cincinnati Reds. Number 4, New York Yankees. For Estevan Florial, their top outfield prospect, who's their number 3, Clark Schmidt, who's their number 2 prospect, and right-handed pitcher. Luis Gil, who's their number 5 prospect, a right-handed pitcher, and Adam Ottavino to give the Cincinnati Reds another arm in the bullpen. They may even consider eating a couple of $1 million of his contract. He only has 1 year left at $9 million a year, and if they ate half of it, I would still do that. So we'd be giving up 3 top 5 prospects and one of our bullpen arms for Marco Gonzales. Okay, 4 guys. Chicago Cubs, number 3. This is a team that's gutted at the pitching level right now. Okay, they have an abundance of position players and positional prospects, but they're gutted at the pitching at the minor league level and the major league level. And they just lost John Lester. Who knows if he's going to come back? There's been talk about them maybe trading Yu Darvish too. But I personally, if you have an opportunity to add a Gonzales to a Darvish and a Kendrick, you do that. Okay, and now you have a dynamic top 3 up front. Okay, Chicago Cubs, they would give up Wilson Contreras, who's their starting catcher. They've already signaled that they're open for business here. They want to shed a lot of contract. And if they can get a starting pitcher for under $10 million a year for the next 5 years, that's the type of contract that they would bring in happily if they can offload a bunch of other ones. They would also give up Ed Howard, who's their number 4 prospect, a shortstop, and Albert Alzolay, who's their number 6 prospect, a right-handed pitcher. And they would probably give up a 4th prospect as well. I can see any team giving up 4 prospects for this guy. Okay, and again, this isn't Sandy Koufax, so not Randy Johnson in his prime, but this is the sign of the times, and you get a controllable pitcher who can go out and throw 180, 200 innings, be a consistent, put you in a position to win, and be a legitimate up front, front of the line pitcher. He's going to cost a lot of money. Period. End of story. Okay. The number 2 team would be the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, they already have an embarrassment of riches with, that they've got, where they have Walker Buehler, Dustin May, Clayton Kershaw, this young kid, Julio Urias, I think his name is the guy who closed out the World Series, young stud pitcher. And they have a stable of, they're another team with a top 5 farm, a stable of pitching prospects, a stable of positional prospects. So they have the assets to give up, quite a bunch in a trade. They gave up a good prospect package last year for Mookie Betts and David Price, one of them being Alex Verdugo, one of their top positional players. But I can see them potentially having to give up, a starting piece to the Mariners, as well as a bunch of top prospects. So, starting piece maybe being a Gavin Lux, who's like a super prospect infielder, first base, third base, that type of thing, rookie of the year. I could see them giving him up for somebody like this, or somebody like a Nolan Arenado or somebody like that, as well as Keibert Ruiz, who's their number 2 prospect, who's a catcher. I've said this in a couple of my recent videos. Yes, he's a stud prospect, but he's blocked by Will Smith at the major league level. They have a starting catcher, and Ruiz is not going to surpass him right now. So he's a prime prospect for a trade for a significant player. And if you add this guy to that rotation, that's more firepower going to the National League too. Surrounded with those guys. Oh man, that's kind of like your modern day, rotation, like the heyday of the Atlanta Braves when they had Maddox and Glavine and Smoltz and all them, Avery, or the Sandy Koufax, Don Drysdale era with the Dodgers. Like that would be that type of level for the Dodgers rotation. So not only would they give up Ruiz at least and potentially Lux, Bobby Miller, who's their number 7 prospect, who's a right-handed pitcher, they'd be part of it, and Clayton Beeter, who's the number 8 prospect, another right-handed pitcher. So 2 top pitching prospects, or top 10 pitching prospects. Their number 2 overall was a catcher, and if it doesn't, if that's not enough, then probably Gavin Lux or somebody like that would be there to sweeten the deal. So I can't see a team giving up any less than 2 top 5s or 3 top 10s for this guy. But these to me are reasonable trades, bold trades, and trades that address significant needs for the acquiring team as well as the trading team. So people who are getting Marco Gonzales fits a huge need, and these players go and backfill huge needs for the teams trading him away. So, and last but not least, a team that's really in desperate need of pitching, the Los Angeles Angels. Now, let's talk about them getting Trevor Bauer and some other players, but could you imagine they get Trevor Bauer in free agency and then trade for this guy? Whole different ballgame. You went from Dylan Bundy and a bunch of other guys headlined by, Garrett Richards, who's a free agent now, but you go from Bundy to Bauer, Bundy, and Gonzalez. Different ballgame in the West. That's a fearsome top 3 in the rotation. Bottom line, end of story. Okay. What they would give up, I'm sure Seattle would probably ask for Joe Adell and some other guys like that. Angels will probably hang up the phone, but at the very least, Reed Detmers, who's their number 2 prospect, who's a left-handed pitcher, so they would get a top left-handed pitcher to plug in to replace eventually Marco Gonzales. Jeremiah Jackson. Excuse me. Jeremiah Jackson, who's their number 4 prospect, shortstop / second baseman. So again, 2 top 5s already. And Jose Sorlano, who's their number 12 prospect, another right-handed pitcher. Allergies are hitting me a little bit. So 2 pitching prospects and a positional prospect. At the very least, they would be giving up that, likely a 4th prospect. I don't see Joe Adell being a part of this, but stranger things have happened. But Joe Adell, I can see them being a fixture in that lineup for a while. And if you can get him without having to give up Adell, who's there to complement Trout and Rendon and Ohtani, and you get a guy like this, Marco Gonzales, which means you can use Ohtani in the bullpen instead of the rotation and let him kind of relieve and maybe DH to save his arm from another Tommy John or another surgery. They're in a much better spot too. They have a legitimate starter up front, and they have more flexibility with Ohtani and more flexibility with their rotation in their lineup. And again, you add Barrett to that. Nasty top three. Nasty. So, here's my 5 bold trades for Marco Gonzales. Let me know what you think. My next video, 5 bold trades for Blake Snell. That's a big one. So, hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet, and the notification so you don't miss it. And leave your your feedback in the comments. They're always welcome. Be safe. Look out for each other. I'll see you over there.